Happy Monday and welcome back to the Burial Zone. Monday morning, we are grinding on final week of NBA basketball, at least for the regular season. We won't have too many wagers in the following days, but I will always mention how each team stands, if they still play for something, and what can we expect from them. So we will go through both slates. As always, if you want to take my place, you can go to patreon.com/the Barrel Zone and join the Discord channel. I think now is a pretty good time with baseball around and us rolling a bit. All right, let's get into it. First NBA game, Washington Wizards at the Atlanta Hawks. Bet365 has a 6.5 minus 120. I show a small edge on the Hawks here. I make this 7.5. This line is basically a 6.5 to 7. Yeah, this is a 7 as this is minus 120. So yeah, a small edge on the Hawks. Good news for them is Hunter, who has been one of their best players early in the season, but has been out for an extended time due to injury. He has been upgraded to questionable. He has been going through full contact 5-on-5 basketball, so I think we will see him back within 3 days or so. I think if he isn't playing here, he will play in the next game. He will be a great addition if he can come, if his minutes will go up to like 25 to 30 come the playoffs. So yeah, big news for the Wizards here. Beal sitting this one out. He has a hamstring issue. It's nothing crazy, just day-to-day thing. I cannot back the Wizards with Beal out, but they have been the better team between these two in the last few weeks. So if you either just watched a few games in the last few weeks or just you look at the stats, the Hawks aren't playing great basketball right now. They aren't really peaking when they should. The offense is great and it's clicking, but defensively they have been regressing big time. I think, they are in the bottom 5 now in points per possession through the last 2 weeks. And their point differential is like almost -5 on average, which is pretty bad. On Wizards, on the other hand, 5-3 in the last 2 weeks. They are 4th in offensive points per possession with a +5 combined point differential. Wizards are on the sitting in 9th seed right now. They are 1 win out of the 8th seed. It's really important to get to either to 7 or 8, as those teams in the play-in tournament will only need to win 1 out of the 2 games, while the 9th and 10th seed needs to win both games to get into the playoffs. So I think we will see some nice efforts from the Wizards, and the recent developments from them, especially on the defensive end in the paint with their bigs, is huge, and I think they are kind of matching up well against the Hawks. Obviously, Beal out will be big, but I think they can stay within this line, and I wouldn't lay 7 points with the Hawks, despite my numbers saying that I should. Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers, 6.5 point spread. Yeah, this was, I don't know how, but this spread was at 2.5 like a few hours ago. BWin and Betfair all had 2.5, and we did bet it at 2.5. Obviously, an unofficial play, as those are soft books, but I really like the Pacers here. Cleveland has lost 10 games in a row. They have the 4th worst record, half the game out from the bottom 3. They can improve their odds in the draft if they keep in the lottery. If they keep losing, I think they will keep losing. The injury list for the Cavs is a mile long, headlined by Garland and Nance, but tons of other guys are out. This is also their 3rd game in 4 nights and the back-to-back. For the Pacers, Turner is still out. Brogdon Lamb questionable. Brogdon hasn't even practiced yet, so I'm leaning towards him sitting this one out. But I think they can still get this done and likely cover this. Pacers are 2.5 games up on the Bulls for the play-in tourney spot. They are essentially able to lock it up with the W here, and they should get the win here as they have four super tough games left after this one. So they will play Philly, Milwaukee, the Lakers, and the Raptors. And I think they will likely lose at least two, but maybe three, possibly even four out of those last four. So yeah, they need every win if they want to get into the play-in tourney. And this is not a team I'm trusting or I like or I want to back. They have been playing super average basketball, grading 15th in offensive and 14th in defensive points per possession, 5-5 in the last 10. Nothing special or great, but I think my line here is 6.5, so I agree with it. It's between 6 and 6.5, but I think Cleveland will want to lose this game, and the Pacers will know that this is probably the most winnable game they have left. And if the players will want to play, then they will lock this one up. So yeah, I like the Pacers at 6. I like them. 6.5 is, I think, is still bettable. My numbers say you are flipping a coin, but I'm leaning towards the Pacers. New Orleans at Memphis, 9.5 point spread. Memphis should be 3.5 here normally, but the Pelicans are without Zion, Ingram, and Adams. We see a 6 point correction. I'm not sure that's enough. I tell you that. I'm a bit above 10 with my numbers, but the problem is that the Grizzlies are playing pretty bad lately. This is a team that has been playing like super high energy, fast basketball, and offensively things are not working out. They seem the rotation is all kinds of messed up. Coaches moving guys in and out of the lineup. I don't like where they are standing right now. They are 26 in offensive points per possession in the last 2 weeks with a -6 point differential, underperforming closing spreads by 11 points on average, which is huge. So yeah, I'm not backing the Pelicans without their three best players, but I cannot lay 10 points with Memphis the way they are playing. So this is a skip. Milwaukee at San Antonio, 7.5 point spread. My line exactly 7.5. Bucks on extra rest. Spurs playing third game in 4 nights. Bucks are only half game back for Brooklyn, but I don't think they will want to go for it, to be honest. They have a super difficult week, 5 games in 7 days. I think they are one of the few teams that have 5 games left. And while they do have some easier matchups, like they play the Magic in the end, but still, I think getting more rest is more important than anything else. They have another game tomorrow. I think this will be a win and get out game. The Spurs really need this game. They are 1.5 games up only for the 10th seed, so they are essentially losing their play-in spot if they are dropping a few more games. And they are only 2.5 games back from the 8th seed, which is, as I said, a huge improvement from their current standing. So the Spurs need this one more, in my opinion, than the Bucks. Obviously, Bucks will try to win this. They won 5 straight. They are on extra rest, fully healthy, way better team. But I wouldn't lay 7.5 points. So yeah, if we are strictly talking about the spreads, and we are talking about the spreads at 7.5, my lean would be the Spurs. I'm not touching it. My numbers agree with the market line. Utah Jazz at the Golden State Warriors, 3.5 point spread. This should be 6.5 with Mitchell and Conley in. So this is only a 3 point correction. I'm more towards correcting the Utah line by 4 points. So I'm not sure this downgrade is enough. So I show a small edge on the Warriors here, but you cannot bet against the Jazz. That's just a fact. If you look at we are at the end of the season, then they have a plus 11 point differential, while the next best team sits at under 7. So, I mean, they are just so much better than everyone this season when it comes to regular season basketball. Obviously, we will see what happens in the playoffs. But in the last 2 weeks, without Conley and Mitchell, the Jazz went 6-2, and they are 5th in offensive and 5th in defensive points per possession with a plus 12.7 point differential. I don't know how they had a few blowout W's, but still they are playing very good basketball without the two best players. They are now 2 games up on Phoenix. close to locking up the first seed. I think they will do it. Conley's day to day. Mitchell, we are likely getting an update in the next couple of days, but I'm expecting him to back by the first round. If they are smart, they will give him time. He can get back into rhythm and game shape through the first round in the playoffs, and he will be kind of rested and ready for the second round. The Jazz will have a gimme first round matchup, likely against the Grizzlies, who are playing super bad right now. As for this game, I'm not touching it. I think I kinda can accept this line, and I am still super low on Golden State, so I don't want to get involved with them. Portland Trailblazers at home, 14.5 point favorites against the Houston Rockets. This was 12.5 earlier, and I wrote in my notes that's not enough, and yeah, it's 14.5 right now. Looks more like it. My fully healthy line would be Portland -10, but Houston is without Wall, KPG, Gordon, Bradley, and now Wood and Kelly Olynyk are both questionable. That's huge, obviously. Blazers rolling. They are 7-1 in the last 2 weeks, plus 18-point differential. They are in the top 10 on both ends of the floor. Another team like the Wizards, that they are peaking at the right time. Hopefully, this will translate well to the playoffs. So no wager for me here. All the lines, I think, are pretty tight today. Again, this will be a trend in the last week of the regular season. Only side that I personally like is the Pacers. I've bet them at -2.5, but I think if you can get a 6, I would still probably bet them. 6.5 is, it's a borderline play, but you can get sixes if you look around. Alrighty, let's talk some. I said alrighty, Jesus. Let's talk some baseball. This is the ugliest baseball card since the season started. So this will be quick. I only have one lean. I will talk about all the 3 games that are off the board, but we have a total only 6 games. So not a lot of meat on the bones. First game on the board, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. This was supposed to be Mali, but he will pitch tomorrow, I think. We will get Jeff Hoffman for Cincinnati, and Keller is still in for Pittsburgh. Cincinnati -134 favorite on the road. Not trusting either guy here. Both guys have super high ERAs. Keller's Sierra is at 5. Hoffman's Sierra at 4.9. Both guys have a walk rate above 11%. Keller has a line drive rate above 28%, and Hoffman has a 35% line drive rate against left-handers and a 23% against righties. And both guys are averaging under 4.5 innings. So neither guy goes deep into games. Both are walking tons of opposing batters and really high line drive rates. I cannot trust either guy. But I cannot trust the Pittsburgh offense either to perform. But I mean, I think 7.5. I tell you that's a bit low. We could see this total going up. This opened at 8. I don't know who is betting the under, but this might be still like a Mali total, and we will see this move up to 8. This should be 8. I might look into that more after the stream is over. As I said, both pitchers are terrible. No bet from me so far. Boston at Baltimore, Perez at Lopez. Martin Perez is not a guy I'm really in love with, but I think he could make this work. He's one of the better arms on this ugly little slate. He has almost an 80% contact rate, swinging strike rate at 8.5%. Below average stuff, but he limits hard contact well, and this is not like a 1 year thing. This has been his MO for years. 25% hard hit rate this season, only a 31% fly ball rate. He's keeping the ball on the ground, and but most importantly, he's limiting hard contact. My issue is that he only averages 4.7 innings, and the Orioles are way better against lefties than they are against righties. They're one of the worst offenses against righties, but against lefties so far, although still small sample size, they have a 111 WRC plus with only a 23% K rate, and Perez isn't a huge K guy. So yeah, I think this will normalize, obviously, but they could be a league average-ish offense against lefties in the end. I kind of like many of the guys against lefties, but overall they are still the third worst team in Xboba, and not a huge believer. But we are talking about laying minus 150 on the road with a guy I don't like. Jorge Lopez for the Orioles, 6.5 ERA, 5.3 Sierra. He's a positive regression candidate, uh, but he has a 10% walk rate, which is something I don't really like. 5 plus FIP against both sides. He's averaging less than 4.5 innings so far, and the bullpen behind him is just a bit below average this year. Limits hard contact, but this is a super difficult matchup. But he has better swing and miss stuff than Perez, and yeah, I'm not laying this price on the road. I think Boston is a bit overpriced. We've seen two-way actions, so some Baltimore money also coming in. I'm not surprised. LA Angels at Houston. This is another pitching change. Houston pitcher will be still Garcia, but LA is either going with a bullpen game or they are going with Suarez, who is in AAA right now. I've looked into Suarez. He's 23, Angels prospect, not one of these high end prospects. He has 81 innings in 2019 and 2 innings in 2020, and he has a 7 ERA and a 6.7 FIP so far through his career. So he's not someone who really want to back against a pretty strong Houston offense. Garcia, on the other end, I think he has some potential, and I'm kind of slowly buying into him. His whip is 3.7 Sierra, 14% swinging strike rate, only 28% hard contact rate under 70%, line drive rates extremely low, 4% to lefties, 18 to righties. He has a 260 WOBA at home, has been pitching great at home. I think Houston will be kind of a big favorite here with the pitching change. I would have made them minus 144, so 59% to win against Alex Cobb. I think this has to be at least like 61, 62% win rate. If we are getting this Suarez guy or basically a bullpen game. So I think we will see Houston around minus 160. If not, then I will be looking at Houston, but I don't think we will get that value here. This will be a spot where Houston is more likely to get overpriced than us finding value on them. Same is true for the next game, San Diego at Colorado. Dinners on Lamet at Antonio Senzatella. Lamet is good, but he hasn't pitched that much so far this year. He has started. I think he had like 1 or 2 outings so far. Yeah, two outings, both 2 innings. He's missing tons of bats. 18% swinging strike rate so far this year. 50% ground ball rate. Not walking anyone, but his velocity is down so far 2 miles per hour against last year. He has 100% left on base rate and a 0% home run to fly ball ratio. And he's pitching in Coors Field, which is super risky. So yeah, I want to see him just get stretched out, get a few innings under his belt. He is one of my favorite arms in the entire league. I'm really high on him. Colorado is not a difficult matchup, but pitching at Coors Field is. Senzatella for Colorado, he is trash. 13% K rate, only a 6.9% swinging strike rate. He has a 5.7 FIP against righties with almost a 400 WOBA of an 85% contact rate. So Padres have the offense has been underperforming for the Padres, and the underlying metrics aren't as good as they were like last year. But they are still the better offense, way better starter, way better bullpen. But I think they will be kind of overpriced here. My line here is around minus 190. But that expects Lamet to go like 4 innings, and I'm not 100% sure he will be able to do that. But I'm leaning towards him being able to do that. So that's why I set him at my line with him at 4 innings. So yeah, minus 190. I think if we get considerably better than that, then I will be on the Padres on the road. Colorado is bad. Senzatella is bad. Miami at Arizona. Another game where we don't have a pitcher announced. Miami. They still haven't decided. It should be either Luis Madero or Jordan Holloway. I had to look into both guys. Holloway, um, he went 3 innings the last time out. He has a 3.3 Sierra in 10 innings so far. Average stuff across the board. He got very lucky. But before this year, before his 10 innings this year, he was in A ball in 2019. So coming from able to the MLB, and now he's pitching great, but he got super lucky so far. I wouldn't buy into that. And Madero is a AAA pitcher. He was in AA in 2019, and he had a 5.7 ERA in 2019. So again, not a guy that gives you any kind of confidence to back the Marlins. Luke Weaver for Arizona, not too high on him either, but he has a 4.3 Sierra, 10.6% swinging strike rate, average K stuff, average walk rate. He gives up 46% hard contact. His velocity is down a bit. Line drive rate pretty high against righties. Not really trusting him. The only thing I would look at here is the over. I think we will get like an 8.5. Even with these two bad offenses. It's a bullpen game for the Marlins, and I think they might be able to hit Weaver. But if they hang like an 8, which I think is the realistic line, then I won't be getting involved. I'm not looking at either side here, especially not backing the Marlins on the road with a bullpen game. But Luke Weaver is not a guy. He will be favorite. He will be like, I don't know, 56, 57% favorite here. I don't want to lay that price with him. Final game of the day, and this is by far the best one. This is the first game I will be watching tomorrow morning. Kai Gibson and Alex Wood, Texas at San Francisco. Two amazing pitchers in pretty good matchups in a pretty good park. So 7 is the total, and this has been moving up a bit. I think 7 is fair, but if this moves to 7.5, that will be 100% a wager for me. So this is the game I'm looking at the most, and I'm kind of expecting maybe a wager here. But I don't understand why people are betting the over. I have an idea why, but I'm still not agreeing with it. So Wood, I think Wood is the better pitcher here. San Fran is the better team. They have the better offense, better bullpen. Minus 141, I think, is kind of fair. I still show a little bit of value on the Giants, but I really like Gibson's stuff, and he matches up really well against the Giants. He's a righty. San Fran is way better against left-handed arms. Gibson, 2.4 ERA, but a 4 Sierra. I think that's many people are betting against pitchers that have such a big difference between their ERA and their advanced run indicators. But I think Gibson is really legit, and I wouldn't want to really fade him. Giants with only a 97 WRC plus against righties and a 28% K rate. Gibson has a 13% swinging strike rate, 52% ground ball rate, only 27% hard contact allowed. He has a 3.3 FIP or better against both sides. I like Gibson a lot. Wood, on the other end, total stud. He was one of my favorite buy low arms coming into the season. I think what they did with him in San Francisco is amazing. He has a 1.9 ERA, 2.9 Sierra, 13% swinging strike rate, 63% ground ball rate, only walks 5.8% of opposing batters face, only 26% hard contact, contact rate at 71%. Amazing stuff. And the Rangers against lefties, 89 WRC plus, only a 130 ISO. They don't walk, 5.9% walk rate, so he doesn't really have to really keep the Vogues down either, but he does always. So yeah, I really like both guys. I think if I would have to take a side, I would go with the Giants here. But I'm looking at the under here first and foremost. I think a 7 at plus money is slight value, but if this gets down to 7.5, gets up to 7.5, I will be on the under. All right, summing it up. So the games that I'm looking at, Houston should be opening up as a decided favorite. I'm expecting like 160. There won't be value there, but if we get something like minus 145, I would be on the Houston Astros here. San Diego, I almost make them minus 200 against Senzatella with Lamet likely going 4 innings. That's my projection. If you get better value, I'm all in. I'm all in on the Padres. Obviously, Lamet difficult to back. Only 2 outings so far. Coors Field not an easy place to pitch at, and he lost some velocity. So this isn't something that's without its risks. But I kind of like San Diego. If we get like a minus 175 or minus 180, I could see that happening, to be honest. And then the over in the Arizona game. If we get an 8, I will be looking at the over. I think the Miami bullpen game is not something that will likely succeed even against the bad offense. The problem is that these are both pretty bad offenses, so this is probably the likely the weakest look I have today. But the 7.5 under in the Giants game, I think, is the strongest look, and that's something that could happen within hours. If this moves to 7.5, I will be betting the under. So Houston at 145 or better, Padres at 180-ish or better, and the under 7.5 in the Giants game. Those are my baseball looks for today. I'm not sure if we get those prices, but I wouldn't be looking at anything else. I tell you the truth. All right, 25 minutes, 2 short slates. This is the show for today. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to tell my plays, you can go to patreon.com/thebettors. I will be back tomorrow at the same time. Way bigger cards, way better games. We will have some bets, hopefully. Good luck with your wagers and enjoy your day. And thanks for